There's something comforting about the way tea slowly releases its flavor. Not rushed, not forced, just steeped in warmth. Today's journal prompt is tea bag, and it couldn't have come at a better time, because sometimes the body says stop, and if you listen carefully, whisper softly, let this be enough. Hi, I'm Garjana and welcome back to this gentle journey through the July Junk Journal Challenge 2025, hosted by the lovely Lee at Lee Creates. This series is where I craft one page each weekday during this month using simple, often found materials, but with a therapeutic twist. I bring my background as a psychotherapist and lifelong inner world explorer to the table, or in this case to the crafting desk, as we sit with these prompts together. It's not about perfect pages, it's about creating space for what's real. And so, today's prompt is tea bag, and today's materials are delightfully simple. I used and dried a tea bag that still smells like warm apple and cinnamon. The wrapping from that Bratapfel tea, which translates to baked apple tea, it's so delicious. A coffee dye tag and some handmade labels. Nothing fancy, but like many of us, holding more than it first reveals. Here it is. We usually have it at winter times and in the moments it's summer in Germany, but I don't mind. I love it anyway. And then this tea bag, which is, as I said, smelling so nicely, has this lovely tag on top of it that it says, "Time for a cup of serenity." I chose these materials very intentionally because truthfully, I've just hurt my back. Maybe I twisted it the wrong way. Maybe I was sitting for long stretches at a time. I've been visiting my 84-year-old mother in Germany, and it's been both lovely and emotionally full. I fly back to New Zealand in a couple of days, 28 hours in the air, with a sore spine and a heavy heart. So this prompt became a kind of message to myself. Steep, rest, zip, repeat. Healing takes time and warmth. Whether it's our joint or our hearts, our nervous system or our stories, we need warmth and slowness. We need room to steep. Pain can be inconvenient, but it's also an information. It tells us something is out of balance. And while not all pain is emotional and not all illness is symbolic, I do think it's worth sitting with our sensations as if they are part of a conversation. What is your body trying to say today? And as I glue down this little tea bag wrapper, I think of how much the body holds. Tension, memories, even emotions. Especially when we don't have words. The body becomes the messenger. I've been thinking a lot about how hard it is to leave someone you love when you don't know how many more visits you will have. I see my mother slowing down. I see her trying to be strong for me. And I realize how much of my inner child still wants to be close, still wants to be held. But life asks us to stretch, to cross oceans, to carry longing. Sometimes that ache settles right between our shoulder blades or in our bag. And as I glue down here this dried tea bag, I find myself drawn to this soft texture, this muted color. It's not jarring, it's just lovely to touch, and it's adding such a warmth and like tactile feeling to the page. There's a story in mind-body psychology that when emotion doesn't have a place to go, it finds a home in the body. A tight jaw might speak of words unspoken, and a sore back might echo burdens carried too long alone. Again, not as a diagnosis, not as blame, but as a curiosity. What if my back pain isn't just about poor posture or a wrong twist, but also about the weight I'm holding emotionally right now? And if you like, you might like to wonder for yourself, what am I holding in my body today that might want a little acknowledgement? No pressure to fix it, just notice it. So, tea is such a beautiful metaphor for healing. You don't rip open a tea bag and demand flavor. You let it sit. Let it rest in warmth, and you wait. I think of all the clients I have worked with over the years who were so impatient with themselves. And I don't blame them, I know this myself. Like wanting to feel better now. Wanting the grief to pass, the habits to stop, the clarity to arrive. But healing rarely responds to urgency. It responds to presence. And so I remind myself, you don't need to be perfect today. You just need to steep, rest, zip, and repeat. And as this page comes together, I feel the simplicity of it as a kind of balm, not trying to impress, just trying to feel. And maybe that's enough. Maybe today is not the day to solve everything. Maybe it's the day to sit with a warm cup and say, I'm tired, I'm hurting, I'm holding a lot. And I'm still here. That's more than enough. There's something about seeing this page unfold that reminds me even small gestures, when done with care, add up to something beautiful. This little pocket, the coffee dyed tag, the stained paper, it feels like a quiet whisper from the body. You listened to me today. Thank you. And while finishing with decorating my little tag here and gluing down today's message, I would like to zoom out just a little. From the tea bag on this page to the ways we steep in life. Our nervous system is wired for survival. It holds on to patterns that once protected us. Hypervigilance, avoidance, people-pleasing, overworking, they all begin somewhere. Maybe your system learned early that rest was lazy or unsafe. Maybe care was always something you gave but never received. Maybe pain meant you had to push harder, not pause. But just as we can brew new tea in an old cup, we can practice new patterns in our old body. Rest can be revolutionary, especially when it wasn't modeled for us, especially when we still carry the emotional weight of caretaking, legacy, and distance between continents, generations, and expectations. So, here are a few questions you might like to take with you today. Maybe over your own cup of tea, or as you lie down and let the day steep out of your limbs. What is your body saying, gently, quietly, that you might have overlooked? Are there aches or pains that might hold emotions alongside physical strain? Can you offer yourself the warmth today that you so easily offer others? And what would it look like to zip instead of gulp, to steep instead of rush? You don't need to have the answers. You just need to stay curious. Thank you for being here with me today, especially on a day where I'm feeling a little sore, a little sad, and a little stretched between hemispheres. It means more than I can say. If today's reflection spoke to you, I'd love if you shared something in the comments. Maybe a thought, a body sensation, or just your favorite kind of tea. And if you are enjoying this slow, reflective style of journaling through the inner world, feel free to subscribe so you won't miss the rest of this series. Remember, steep, rest, zip, repeat. Healing takes time and warmth. And you, my friend, are allowed both. Until next time, be gentle with yourself and others.